I have been dreaming of this moment since I was in middle school. No, I would go around like PE in middle school doing my three-finger salutes, wearing combat boots and a side ponytail, and I just cannot believe that this moment is real. Like, I'm pinching myself. I'm so thankful and so excited for you guys to see this movie. Clemensia is one of the most fun characters I think I've ever gotten to play. She just has such an air about her. I'm kind of channeling her with that ponytail tonight, but she kind of reminds me of my cat in a strange way. My cat Cleo, they have the same kind of air of like presence about them and confidence, and I just think that that's what Clemensia is all about. You know, I've never been on a set where someone walked into a room and could command the presence of 300 people. She came to set in character. I don't have enough good things to say about her performance and her as a person, and I just can't believe that she wanted to, you know, chat with me in between takes and stuff, and that she knows my name, like, EGOT winner Viola Davis! And Peter Dinklage is one of the funniest people I've ever met. So Jason's incredible in this, and I'm so thrilled to have everyone on this wonderful project. This is the first thing that I know of that's really got a big thing happening after the strike, and so I'm really excited to see the turnout for it and the excitement. And also I just feel like, you know, if you love the world of Hunger Games, why not come watch more Hunger Games and be involved again?
Look, I'm super excited. You know, when we finished Mockingjays in 2015, we thought that was it, and then Suzanne surprised us with another book, and it's, you know, what feels sort of almost like a standalone movie. And what's great is the fans, I think, are going to really love it because it's the origin of not only a character that they know, but also it's kind of an origin story of the entire series. Yeah, I mean, one thing we wanted to do is we wanted to sort of approach the casting like the original series, which is to sort of get kind of fresh faces like up front and then surround them with veteran legacy talent. You know, finding Tom, honestly, we knew we were going to get somebody that was relatively unknown, and we saw tons and tons and tons of people, and then Tom's audition kind of came out of the blue, honestly, for me, and just kind of blew everybody out of the water. He's so talented and so smart and sophisticated, and, you know, he's Juilliard trained and so good at his craft. And then you have Rachel, who's unbelievable. I saw her in West Side Story. She's an amazing actress, and there's a lot of music in this movie, and we needed an amazing singer, and so there's just literally nobody more perfect than her. Oh, she's amazing. I mean, my God. So, you know, she's probably one of the best actors of all time, let alone our generation, and so it was unbelievable. And I think that once we had these initial conversations, it was just like, you know, you just sort of let Viola do her thing. It all comes from Suzanne Collins, and I think, you know, it gets lumped into that young adult world, but the truth is that Suzanne always writes from a thematic idea at first. And I think because of that, she then builds stories around these ideas. It has like heft, and it has weight, and it has relevance, which makes it break out of just like the teen mold.
I grew up a fan of this series, and so it's really kind of, I'm still kind of comprehending that I get to be a part of that world now, and I couldn't be happier playing Tigris, so it means the world. Tigris is Coriolanus Snow's cousin, and they've been living together ever since they were really young and kind of supporting each other as like siblings, but also kind of like parents for each other, and also cousins. I mean, like, Tom and I had to jump into like an emotionally heavy scene on like my first filming day, and it just like clicked, and we've never struggled with that. So I don't know, I just feel really lucky that he was my main scene partner, you know. It felt like a really big privilege that they had already done a really successful you know, first round of these movies, and that they knew how to do it, and there was a formula that they've kind of like perfected at this point. So I just felt really safe, and it kind of allowed me in acting mode to feel like free. I mean, I think the fact that they were able to execute these movies and make fans happy is a remarkable accomplishment, and I don't know, yeah, I think they've done it again.
It's a little surreal to be able to join something that you know and means a lot to you. And this capacity, this prequel capacity, is like insane. Well, I play the first hosts of the Hunger Games. These are the 10th Hunger Games, but they've never had a host before, trying something new. And so this is sort of like the beginning of a different kind of Hunger Games. When I saw the Hunger Games, the first one, I saw Stanley Tucci in it, and I flipped out. And I remember thinking, like, that is the best character, and I wish I could be in a movie like this and do a character like that. And then lo and behold, this happened. It's a great story, especially this one, to me, is a really interesting story of kind of showing the beginnings of how something could get so out of control. Seeing where the roots kind of start, I think is really fascinating, especially seeing characters that you didn't think were possible of love. Stuff like that, I think, is pretty interesting to watch.
The fan base around the original franchise, which is so cool. Everybody's been so welcoming and everybody's so passionate about it, which is great. And I think the retelling of kind of the origin story, how Snow became who he is, kind of getting under the skin of that character arc, and there's a lot of meaty nuance in there. I think people are really going to like it. Obviously there's only so much I can talk about without getting into spoiler territory, but he's got a lot of heart, he's got a lot of conviction, he's very passionate about humanity's capacity to do good and be good, and that's something I really admire about him. It was a lot of fun to play him just because of all the friction he has with a lot of the other characters. It's really great. As far as it feels to be here, I mean, this is incredible. I can't lie, I still get butterflies in my stomach when I pull up to these carpets. It's really amazing. I mean, it's great because I think there's this sort of existing aesthetic that we have, which is really glamorous and showy and kind of larger than life. What's nice about this story is it kind of takes you to a more unpolished, gritty version of what we already know, and how it becomes this whole media spectacular and how it becomes what it is. It's kind of cool to just rewind a couple decades before that and be a part of that world. Me and Tom, I think, were some of the first people that got there. So, we spent a lot of time like going out, getting to know each other. So by the time we actually started filming, that we were already buddies. The chemistry was kind of there. They're so spectacular. I have only good things to say about everybody who worked on it. Francis is an incredible collaborator. He put a lot of trust in the actors, which gave us a lot of freedom to kind of bring ourselves to the role. As far as the producing team goes, we have Brad and Nina, who work on Color Force Productions. They actually were able to get me my next project after this one, which is great. So I'll be working with them again, which is very exciting. I think it's just such a strong movie. It has a lot of emotional arc to it. It's just very good.
It's incredible. I mean, it seems so far away for so long, and then when it's suddenly actually here and you can finally share it, and to be here with all these fans who, some of whom have been here, for all the movies, it's amazing. Well, having the chance to be reunited with Francis after, we've stayed obviously friends, but it's been amazing to get to work so closely again with him and Suzanne. It's just an incredible collaboration, and you miss each other. You miss the world of the movie and the world of her stories, her characters, but you also miss each other. Well, I think, Tom brought this incredible nuance, these layers of complexity to play both a hero and a villain. We auditioned a lot of great actors who they could be a hero, they could be a villain, but only Tom really brought that ability to kind of be continually torn between being both. She's like one of my idols. I was so, she was who Francis and I wanted from the beginning, and that was who we were hoping for. And when she, when she said yes, and she was so into what a sick, dark puppy, and how much fun of a villain Dr. Gaul is, she was just all in, and that was thrilling. It was thrilling to see her version of the character. It was everything I could have imagined. Well, we wanted to make a movie that you could know nothing about the world. You could have never read a book. You could have, any of the books, seen any of the movies, and still have a really full and satisfying meal at the theater. But we also wanted all of the fans to learn as much about the world as I learned as I read the book. There were so many things I didn't know.
I'm such a fan of this franchise and such a fan of this franchise's iconic soundtracks, and so it was such an honor to get to write a song for this incredible movie, and I'm really excited for everyone to see it and hear the song in the movie, so it's very surreal. Yeah, it was a really interesting challenge for me as a songwriter. Most of my songs that are on my albums are very diaristic and sort of about my own life, and so it was really fun to get to watch this movie and challenge myself as a songwriter to write a song from the perspective of Lucy Gray. To be here is incredible, to be a part of it is incredible, but I'm also just so excited to be here as a fan and get to watch this incredible movie again, so it's going to be a fun night.
Time for entertainment to re-emerge and share with everybody, and it's so much fun. Because this is the strike just ended last week, And here we are, nice to be invited to the party. And they've always had such a strong list of great actors involved in these movies that I saw from the past that it's an honor. Well, he's got one of my favorite names of any character I've ever played, Casca Highbottom. He's the creator of the Hunger Games, and he now is living with the guilt of sort of uncorking the terrible genie that he can't get back into the bottle. Francis, I adore. There's Tom now. I have always been a fan of his films. I Am Legend and Constantine and the Hunger Games movies he's done, and he has such skill and patience with actors, and you're in such good hands. He knows exactly what he wants every day, he's pre-visualized the entire thing, so you have nothing but faith and trust in him. So, well, the good news is it's a prequel, so you don't have to see the other films to watch this film. You can even start with this film and then go to the other ones. So there's nothing to really play catch up on. So if you're young and new to it, start with this one and you'll be in good hands.
It's such an incredible story, and we really are so thankful to Suzanne for adding on to something that's so iconic. And I think a lot of the filmmakers thought that the story was over with Katniss and the gang, and getting to delve into these characters in an even deeper, meaningful way. It's such an honor as an actor to get to do that, and also just as a storyteller in general, it's really beautiful. I mean, Lucy Gray is a very mercurial young lady, and she goes on a journey of self-discovery, but also self-preservation. It's a story of survival for her, first and foremost, and she gets to have a really beautiful romance along the way, but also a lot of a contentious relationship as well. Well, I mean, chemistry can't be faked, it can't be contrived, and it can't be made in a lab, hilariously enough. But Tom and I kind of met and instantly clicked. We instantly became friends, and I just adore him so much. He's such a meaningful actor with intention and a sense of intelligence that is very hard to find, but also a care for his scene partners, myself included, and getting to be cared for by him is an honor, and getting to fall in love with him on screen is an honor. Jason is an insane professional who is so off-the-cuff hilarious, with careful planning and intention, but also ad-libbing in the moment. I am in awe of him. I am a huge fan of his, and after working with him, I'm just an even bigger fan. Oh my gosh, Francis is my favorite collaborator I've ever worked with, because working with him doesn't feel like someone's in charge. It feels like it's a real collaboration, and I just adore him. I want to make every movie with him. It is the Hunger Games you know and love, but it delves into the reason why, and Suzanne Collins is exceptional at holding up a mirror to society and asking the real tough questions that don't necessarily leave us with an answer, but definitely leave us wanting more.
Okay, I'm so excited to be here tonight because everyone's gonna love this movie. Her name is Wovey, and she's from District 8, and she's brave and strong like me, and I'm excited to be like her.
Yeah, it feels like a long time in the making. I mean, obviously we finished filming about a year ago this month in Berlin, and when you finish any project, you almost can't believe that it's ever going to be out there, but this especially, it was such a labor of love for everyone involved. We were all fans before. Then we got inducted into the franchise ourselves and shepherded through by like great filmmakers like Francis and Nina. So now to be able to actually share it, I kind of can't believe it's actually going to be out there, but I'm glad it will be, because I think the fans have waited a long time. Yeah, I mean, Corio in this is a very different Snow to the Snow that we saw in the original franchise. He's a young guy who has a lot of ambition, and the ambition is kind of leading him astray. Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Donald's performance in those original films. He's just like one of the great movie villains of movie history. So I kind of had to try and forget where he ends up in order to start him off in a completely different place. But at the beginning, he's just a kid. He's just a guy who wants to like do well and be the best in his class and maybe find love. So being able to track that progression throughout was really fun. I mean, we're really lucky that we've just naturally become very close. I think really more than anything, apart from just like natural chemistry and her being an amazing singer and me falling in love with her singing every time she sang, I think the real thing is just like we leaned on each other throughout a 6-month shoot, which was like psychologically and physically difficult. It was a lot of fun, but just it was a big shoot all over Europe, and I think we just kind of leaned on each other for support and became really close through that.
I come from the theater. You know, theater is live. You get an immediate response with whatever play you do. With the movie, I shot it, a year or so ago. So it's nice to the audience finally receiving the film and receiving the work that we did in Germany that I thought was so special. And I want to know how they react to it. Yeah, absolutely. The journey she goes on is, I call it a demented mentor. a sort of reluctant mentor. I had fun relishing in the evil. I had fun relishing in sort of molding and shaping Snow, Tom Blyth, into this person who I felt and deemed him to be. And that's all I could say. I mean, I felt like, you know, with acting, you get permission to go to parts of your imagination that you can't go to in life. What helps when you get a group of artists who work together, makeup, hair, actor together, what you create when you walk out of the trailer is hopefully a character that you already have stepped into. And that becomes the magic. That becomes 50% of the work. He's so calm that you're like, okay, Francis, something has got to upset you. He has a very calm, relaxed style, and what that means to me is he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, he knows what he wants, and that's always really good because it gives you a safe space. You know, sometimes it becomes an actor's dream to just be a part of a franchise in any way, and to be able to play with a villain role, you know. Sometimes I get tired of being the nice person all the time, because I'm that person in life too. I'm like the nice person in life. It is always a joy to see great work. I believe in the artists. I do. I believe that it is an honorable profession. I think when people are exposed to the arts, I think it makes them feel alive and less alone. It sparks their imagination, and we need more of that in the world.